It is on a sad note that Uganda has lost a professional artist, an educator, and a Pan-Africanist, General Elly Tumwine. He was the security minister in the cabinet of Uganda from March 2018 until 2021. He retired from active military service in July 2022. That and more stories in our bulletin today. Thank you so much for joining us and always being part of us. This is Africa Today. My name is Nahawe Kajura, but first, the headlines. Called 7 Kenyan female governors to be sworn in on Thursday. US sends first ambassador to Sudan in 25 years. In our sports news today, Odoj talking revamp after Express Get boost. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. We start with one of our top stories. The CEO of Uganda Airlines has for the second time shunned the Parliamentary Committee on Casus Summons. Yesterday, the committee chair Joel Senyonyi issued fresh summons to Bamuturachi after failing to appear and also vowed to issue a warrant of arrest once she fails to appear today. However, in the interim, Senyonyi says he is going to seek for Speaker's intervention into the matters of Bamuturachi so that the committee report is not derailed for tabling in Parliament and also to know the persons behind Bamuturachi's stubbornness of undermining the Committee of Parliament. It's from this that the chair Senyonyi has summoned both the shareholders of Uganda Airlines, that is Minister of Works General Katumba Wamala and Minister of Finance Matia Kasaija, tomorrow to appear before the committee and explain the status of Bamuturachi as the CEO in Uganda Airlines. Meanwhile, in today's sitting, the committee has interacted with the former CEO of Uganda Airlines, Cornwell Muleya, about the cause of his termination from the airline. In reply, Muleya said that there were both internal and external factors fighting him, especially when he refused corruption tendencies, illegal recruitment of relatives, and irregular procurements which could cause the airline losses at the infancy stage. He cited the current CEO Bamuturachi, who contracted a company, Abaveta, in which he had interest to carry on publicity of the company and also inflated the invoice from $173,000 to $404,000, which was later detected and discharged. Away from that, Uganda's former Security Minister General Elly Tumwine has died in neighboring Kenya at the age of 68 following a long illness. He was airlifted to a hospital in Kenya's capital Nairobi 2 weeks ago.
General Elly Tumwine was one of the founder members of the National Resistance Army, which fought a 5-year war that brought President Yoweri Museveni to power in 1986. It is believed that General Tumwine fired the first shot as the then rebel group attacked a military barracks and launched its bourgeois uprising in central Uganda. He became commander of the rebel army in 1984, holding the position until 87, a year after it had taken power. General Tumwine had held several positions in government over the last couple of decades, including Security Minister and Deputy Defense Minister. He was also a long-term member of Parliament representing the army. As Security Minister, he made controversial comments following the election campaign protests in November 2020 after the security forces had killed at least 50 protesters, saying, and I quote, "The police have a right to shoot you and kill you if you reach a certain level of violence," end of quotes. He was dropped from the cabinet last year and retired from the army in May.
Moving on in our top stories, Uganda is to join the rest of the world in celebrating the International Youth Day on 26th August 2022, a day that is celebrated every year. On the 12th of August, however, in Uganda it was postponed due to financial constraints. The celebrations will take place in Kaunda Stadium in Gulu Town, and President Yoweri Museveni will be the guest of honor. This was revealed to the media by the State Minister for Children and Youth Affairs, Honorable Sarah Mateke, at Uganda Media Center here in Kampala.
On the 12th of August 2022, the world celebrated the International Youth Day, a day that is commemorated every year. However, in Uganda, this day was postponed to 26th of August as government failed to raise the funds to organize the event. Addressing the media at Uganda Media Center in Kampala, the State Minister for Children and Youth Affairs, Sarah Mateke, confirmed that all is set for these celebrations that will take place in Kaunda grounds in Gulu district with President Yoweri Museveni as the guest of honor. According to the spokesperson for the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Joshua Chalimpa, the theme for this year's celebration in Uganda rotates around the integrational solidarity, the role of a youth in the implementation of the parish development model. Joshua also explained that government has called upon all the youth across the country to be part of this celebration. However, to those who will not manage being part of Gulu district, they have arrangements in their respective districts. He also said that over 8,000 circles in the entire country are said to benefit from the parish development model program, and these will first get 25 million shillings as this is done to end youth unemployment. According to officials from the Ministry of Gender, government intends to use this day to remind the youth that these funds are not for other purposes apart from developing themselves, adding they are to sensitize the youth on the purpose for the parish development funds.
Thank you so much, Ahomoza. We take a quick break. We shall come back with the international news. Welcome back for the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the Brightoner. In international news today, a record 7 female governors are to be sworn in on Thursday in Kenya, following the recent elections in which a total of 45 regional governors were elected. The vote has ushered new wave of female leaders. Previously, there were only 3 women holding these influential positions. Governors are in charge of huge budgets and are expected to spearhead development in their counties. More than 20 female candidates had vied for the gubernatorial posts. Despite women making up nearly half of registered voters, very few female leaders hold elective positions. Martha Koome, Kenya's first female Chief Justice, has appointed 45 judges to preside over the swearing-in ceremony of the incoming governors. The 7 women to be sworn in are Fatuma Achani, Kwala County; Susan Kahika, Nakuru County; Cecily Mbarire, Embu County; Kawira Magwanza, Meru County; Wavinya Ndeti, Machakos County; Anne Waiguru, Kirinyaga County; Gladys Wanga, Homa Bay County. Away from that, the U.S. has sent its first ambassador to Sudan in 25 years, 2 years after it removed it from the list of countries that sponsor terrorism. We have the report.
Ambassador John Godfrey arrived in the capital Khartoum on Wednesday and tweeted that he was delighted to be there and looked forward to supporting the Sudan people's transition to democracy. Sudan was added to the list of countries that sponsor terrorism in 1993 after accusations that it supported Al-Qaeda, whose founder Osama bin Laden lived in Sudan from 1992 to 1996. In 1997, the US downgraded representation in Sudan from ambassador to the level of chargé d'affaires and imposed economic sanctions. The US announced plans to upgrade the representation in 2019 and the following year appointed an ambassador.
Moving on, Angola's Electoral Commission says the governing MPLA has registered a strong lead after the early results on Wednesday, presidential and parliamentary elections. The commission said that with a third of ballots counted, President Joe Lourenco party has received more than 60% of votes. The rebel-turned-opposition movement, UNITA, has nearly 34%. UNITA has called the provisional results unreliable. The MPLA, which has been in power for more than 4 decades, has been criticized for not tackling inflation, poverty and employment despite huge oil wealth. Now, the UN World Food Programme has said Tigrayan forces in northern Ethiopia have looted 1 million liters of fuel from its warehouses in Tigray's capital, Mekelle, that was meant to be used in delivering aid.
Tigrayan forces have not responded to the accusations, which come after fresh fighting broke out on Wednesday for the first time in several months. The UN and the US have urged Ethiopian troops and the Tigrayan forces to restore a humanitarian truce. UN Chief Antonio Guterres said he was shocked by the resurgency in fighting, while the US expressed concern that renewed clashes could jeopardize progress made over the past 5 months. The chair of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki Mahamat, also called for the immediate cessation of hostilities and urged the warring sides to resume talks. The conflict, which began in November 2020 in Tigray, has led to the deaths of tens of thousands of civilians and left millions in need of food aid.
We take a quick break. We shall come back with the business news. Welcome back for the break. You're still watching TV Africa, the Brighton. In a business news today, shop owners in Ghana are threatening to close their business premises next Monday to protest against the weakening of the country's currency, the cedi.
At 10 cedis to the US dollar, traders are finding it difficult to stay in business as the cost of importing and clearing goods continues to rise. Prices for most basic goods and services have doubled over the last couple of months in Ghana, but incomes for the most part. Joseph Obeng, president of the Ghana Union Traders Association, said about increasing interest rates and multiple taxes borne by traders that they are demonstrating against the government to show the extent that they are suffering. The intention is not to punish the consuming public. In solidarity with the planned demonstration, the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, an umbrella body for clearing agents, says it will also cease operations on Monday. Inflation in Ghana now stands at over 31%, the highest in the last 20 years. The government has pointed the blame at the COVID-19 pandemic and the recent Russia-Ukraine war. But earlier, there had been concerns about the country's public debt, which now stands at $45.5 billion, more than 77% of the country's gross domestic product.
Health News today, Rhoda Wanyeze, the Dean of Makerere University School of Public Health, a member of government's Scientific Advisory Committee on COVID-19, said yesterday that the decline does not mean the pandemic is over.
Statistics from the Ministry of Health indicate that no COVID-related deaths have been reported since July 2022, and only 3 patients are currently hospitalized with the disease. The country registered its index COVID-19 case in March 2020, and since then, 168,766 cases and 3,628 deaths have been registered. More than 1 million people have also recovered from the contagious disease. 3 hospitalized COVID-19 cases indicate a decline from 5 cases on August 1st. Health experts have attributed the decline in hospitalization and death to low numbers of infections and mild variant of the coronavirus. An average of 30 new cases of infections are currently registered per day, a number several times lower than more than 1,000 cases that the country was recording per day during the peak of the second wave of the pandemic in 2021. Many infected people do not develop the symptoms or have mild symptoms that can be treated at home.
In a sports news today, Odoch talking revamp after Express get boost from the sponsors, technical team to the playing staff. Match is changing at Wankulukuko Stadium. It will be somewhat a new look Express side when the new StarTimes Uganda Premier League season commences on September 30th.
On Friday, the 7-time league winners showed they still have the appeal to lure sponsors when they unleashed a partnership with online betting company Melbet. The exact amount invested by Melbet company per season was concealed, but some reports purported it at 136 million shillings. That for a club that was reeling from the untimely departure of shirt sponsors Betway, reported cost 420 million shillings annually last year, this looks ideal. Express CEO Isaac Mwesigwa revealed at the unveiling ceremony at Wankulukuku that they have positioned themselves in a good way to attract sponsorship, and they believe that Melbet is one of many to come. The Melbet logo will be emblazoned at the back of the Red Eagles jersey in a deal that also sees the sponsors buying playing kits, sets of fans replica jerseys, brand the team bus, and also sponsor the club's CAFA title retention bid in Rwanda. Melbet sales manager Topista Nasuna said Express is known as Mukwano Gwabanchi, and they also believe that they are among those friends. She added that they were attracted by its rich history and success.
It is at this particular time that I thank you for being part of us. And is joining us, don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We should keep updating you. It is TV Africa, the right to know.